Ambrosio Rodriguez is a criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor, and we're grateful for you coming in. Thank you
so much.
Okay, on the eve of the trial, Manafort's legal team has decided that they're going to withdraw their appeal to an earlier decision, which they'd lost. The judge had ruled earlier that Mueller does, in fact, have the authority to go after Manafort on these charges on the basis of the Russia investigation. That judge was a Reagan-appointed judge, and he read the unsealed indictment and brief, I guess, given to him by the Deputy Attorney General, Rob Rosenstein. Is this a sign, though, that Manafort's team is now starting to cut their losses ahead of the trial?
I think so. I mean, look, what people need to understand is just how powerful evidence in a case like this is. This is a paper case. All the money has been chased down. They have receipts for everything from all the corporations he set up in Cyprus and the Grenadines in order to make these payments.
There's 500 pieces of evidence, I think, or more, right? That's a lot in a trial?
It is in a case where it's a piece of evidence, not just one piece of paper. Right. It can be his tax returns from 2014, right?
So it's a lot of stuff.
Right.
Okay. The crucial point here is that prosecutors have said this is not about Russia, this is not about collusion, they don't intend to bring it up. New York Times reports Mr. Manafort's role in the Trump campaign will be mentioned only in the limited context of a loan that Mr. Manafort obtained, prosecutors have said. One bank chairman knew Mr. Manafort's application for a loan was based on false documents, but approved them because he was promised and received a position on the Trump campaign. But investigators do plan to produce evidence that Manafort, when he was working in Ukraine, was bankrolled by Ukrainian oligarchs, like $60 million, to get Viktor Yanukovych elected. And Viktor Yanukovych was in the pocket of Russia's Vladimir Putin.
Correct. It was $75 million, and it was... Right, he was a puppet of Putin, and after he was overthrown or voted out, he sought exile and still lives in Russia. So, sure, there is the critics that are claiming that, look, they're trying to, Mueller is trying to use Manafort in order to flip on Trump, may be right, but that happens all the time in federal cases. I mean, the federal government, and when there's wide conspiracies, will use someone in order to put pressure on them. So there's nothing new or unique about that.
Okay. To that point, Trump's outside lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, said on Monday that, you know what, Manafort, he knows nothing. This is what he said.
Manafort does not know anything, and nor could it be possible he did. He was with them for 4 months. 4 months. They're not going to be colluding about Russians.
Well, he was actually with him for 5, and there's other relationships there as well. But if it's true that he actually doesn't know anything, and I kind of doubt that for a start, but if that's true, then Manafort doesn't have a lot to bargain with. If this trial is in fact going ahead, as you know, the president's allies have said, just simply to pressure Manafort into knocking on the president, he doesn't have a lot of cards to play here.
Right, and he may not, but look, Manafort's and Trump's relationship goes back to the 80s, actually.
Yeah.
And so this kind of connection that between Manafort, Trump, and possibly the Russians is something that, look, I think that Giuliani's claim that there's no there might change in the next 48 hours. I mean, news cycles aren't what they used to be, right?
Exactly.
Right?
They're news cyclones these days. Also, again, with Giuliani, he made this point that he doesn't even know if collusion is a crime. Collusion is basically a synonym for conspiracy.
Correct.
He also went on to say that the real crime was the hacking of the DNC computers. Right. And he said, oh, Donald Trump didn't do that, so that's what you should be looking at. But can't you be the beneficiary of a crime? Like, if you received the information from the hack of that DNC computer, aren't you then part of a crime?
You're part of the crime if you had knowledge.
Right.
Right. And the idea that Trump didn't know is changing by the day. That is the evidence that we're getting from the infamous Trump Tower meeting. The story behind it from the Trump administration keeps changing. Yeah. And not only that, today Giuliani hinted that there was a kind of a pre-meeting, right? And that came out of nowhere. All of a sudden there was a meeting before the meeting, right? This has gone from Donald Jr. saying it was a nothing burger.
It was about charity,
right?
orphanages.
It was about adoptions, right? Yeah. Now to this. So, and Giuliani makes a statement today that Trump didn't do the hacking. He doesn't have to do the hacking in order to be part of the conspiracy. Right. In fact, the people at top don't do the dirty work. They have other people do it. I mean, that's how a conspiracy and a pyramid works, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's how the mob works,
That's
I guess, amongst other organizations.
Among others.
Ambrosio, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.